It's the most horrible day of my life. She was trying to explain to me what she did.
She believed that the world was ending. The secret that he had been hiding was that when Tony was just 4 years old, his father, Robert Tote, hired somebody to kill his mother. And it wasn't just that. Robert Tote was known in his community as the perfect man. Robert and his wife, Loretta, were considered in the community as just the perfect couple. But what Loretta did not know was that Robert was actually having an affair, actually a couple affairs. And he was having an affair with a 17-year-old nurse. Now, Robert knew a young man named John who was 19 years old who had a learning disability. Robert allegedly, now Robert still denies this to this day, allegedly goes up to John and offers him $800 to take his wife out. Well, sure enough, just as planned, on that night, John came into the house and went into the bedroom where Loretta was and shot her in the face. Now, crazy thing is, she lived. 4-year-old Tony heard his mama screaming, came down the hallway and saw all this. Okay, so you can only imagine how traumatized he was. She was rushed to the hospital, and then when they started investigating it, they were trying to find out where the husband was, and they found out he was at his mistress's house. So obviously, he becomes the main suspect. Long story short, he gets charged with attempted murder and conspiracy to hire and da-da-da-da. They go and arrest the 19-year-old boy, John. John turns state evidence, testifies against him. John, the one that actually shot him, gets 4 years, and Tony's dad, Robert, gets 10 to 20. Okay, now this is the craziest part. She did not believe that he really did this. Well, later on, her opinion changed. She divorced him, took her kids, and went far, far away. And then Tony hadn't seen his father since all of this. So now in 2010, when he's been through college, he's got 2 businesses, he's got a wife and 2 kids, and his father's reaching out to him, he's curious. So he goes and he meets up with his father. So life continues to go on after that. Everything is perfect. Megan is homeschooling the kids. I mean, everything is great. They got plenty of money coming in. They're just traveling back and forth. They're on planes like it ain't nothing. Disney World every other week, it seems like. And according to Tony, okay, she got bit while she was at Disney World by a tick. She contracted Lyme disease and she got super sick. He said that she was in so much pain all the time from there. She was getting very depressed. And because of that, she was searching for ways to heal herself. But also in 2018, things started getting really bad at the business. Well, it wasn't just that. Tony was taking out all these different loans from different companies in New York and all this stuff, and like with really high interest rates. And then you had people that were his clients that had been seeing him for years and then maybe had stopped seeing him, getting bills from their insurance agency saying that, oh my gosh, you saw family physical therapy 10 times last month. And they're calling their insurance companies and they're like, wait a minute, I haven't seen him in 6 months. And this is what sparked an investigation for fraud into the Tote family. It is even said that the FBI agency went and sat out in front of the business and saw that nobody came in on so-and-so day, but then yet Tony marked that he saw 36 people that day or 36 different cases. So he was charging people's insurance and getting the money for it, even though he wasn't seeing anybody. Now, during this time, Megan and the kids were down in Florida in their vacation home. So when he sits down to talk to the FBI investigators about this, he says, oh, you got it wrong. It must be a misunderstanding. Oh, I must have pressed the number accidentally more than once. And the FBI agency's like, yeah, buddy, we see your type all the time. You're going to jail. And he's like, okay, hold on. Let me make this right. Okay, I did do something. Let me get my paperwork together and I'll give you everything you need to know. Well, when that happened, he packed up all of his stuff, honey. He hopped on that plane. He went to Florida. It seems like had full intentions on just running from this issue in Connecticut of the fraud. It is alleged that his wife, Megan, picked him up from the airport. Getting closer to Christmas, Chrissy, Tony's sister, is calling. Nobody is answering their phone. On December 29th is when the first welfare check call was called in. Now, when the sheriff's office got there, nobody answered the phone. There was no lights on. There was no nothing. So the cops just left. Now, on January 10th, another call was called in for a welfare check. And in this one is when they tell the 911 operator that they remember, they're like, man, it's all clicking now. They remembered that they heard Megan say that she believed that the world was ending. They go to do a welfare check. They don't see anything at all. They leave. On January 13th, however, is when the FBI came ready to knock that door down because they were there for the fraud situation, okay? And at this point, somebody was getting in that house. The cops showed up at the door and nobody answered. They jiggled the handle, they opened the door, and it came open. The cops said when they opened the door, they could smell a foul smell. They could hear somebody upstairs and they began to call out, and Tony started to come down the stairs. When they went upstairs, they found Megan and they found the kids, but they were no longer alive. And it was very clear that they had been dead for weeks. Tony had been living in that house with them bodies. Now, the story that he confesses doesn't make total sense.
I came home and my kids were dead. It was the most horrible day of my life. My wife died in front of me also. She was trying to explain to me what she did.
I don't know if she did have some sort of thoughts of the end of the world, but what I don't think she hurt her babies, okay? I don't think that, but again, I don't know. He would later go on to say that his wife stabbed herself. I don't believe any of that. I think he had a psychotic break. He would later go on to tell some investigators that the reason why he did the fraud stuff was because he wanted to keep up this life that his family was accustomed to. You never know what he's saying is true. All of it could be a lie. He could have had 15 affairs on the side. We don't know. But he did get found guilty. He took it to trial. But the judge and jury did not buy it. As a matter of fact, the judge said that he is a destroyer of worlds. Tony ended up getting 4 life sentences for the murders of his wife and children, and then another year tacked on for the animal cruelty for the dog. He will never get out again, although he's trying.